everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. In my last video, thank you for all your comments on, the potential ways that I could have avoided my sleigh runners breaking like they do. I very much appreciate it. And as I mentioned, I'm not going to attempt that with the mixed mold anytime in the near future. We'll just stick with resin for now. Today's project, what are we working on? I got this kind of cool mold from Let's Resin quite a while ago. I haven't done anything with it. I don't know if you've seen it on the website. I think it's just a fun play piece. I'm not really sure who this guy's supposed to be. It is a 2-pack. There's another fairly big mold that is similar to this, but it's more rectangle in shape than this one is. And I have been sort of in my head going, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? And I think I have an idea. I'm going to play a little bit with this piece. I can admit my brain isn't sort of functioning the way I want it to for this piece, but I've been thinking about doing it and I thought, well, let's do it and see how it turns out. So what's sort of the plan here? Well, we're going to do a couple of different things. First off, because of the eyes on this guy, I have decided that I'm going to do UV resin for the eyes because I want them to be different, and if I do just resin I could end up with whatever, and I'm on a bit of a time crunch with this video, so I thought instead of doing a 2-part epoxy I would just use UV resin for the eyes. My plan is to do one eyeball in light wish dark blue, the other one in the turquoise green, and then I want to do the outer part of the eye in yellow. Don't ask me why. If you could, you'd go, why are you doing that? I don't know. It seems like a fun piece. It doesn't seem like it needs to be a serious piece, so we're going to have a little bit of fun with it, and I'm going to lay those back down so they don't get as many air bubbles in them. The other thing we're going to do with this piece is I'm going to use my neon powders by Let's Resin and sort of decorate them up with the bright colors. The other thing I had thought about doing was he's got hands here at the side. Again, I didn't think UV resin would be the smart move on that part, and I didn't know with the 2-part epoxy, again, time crunch, and I'd have to wait for it to set up a little bit before I could do anything else. And I might do his hands a little differently as far as a color, but for the rest of them I want to do sort of keeping in not contrast, but with the fact that I've got the blue, the green, and the yellow, I want to do the neon green, blue, and lemon. Then what I want to do is when I mix my resin up to pour in here, I'm actually going to use the Eli Chem Resi Tint Max Mulberry, which is going to be a very deep purple. I know I've done the neon colors before and I've used gray as the resin color, and I've gotten a really cool effect, and I want to see what effect I'm going to get if I use mulberry versus a lighter color. Is it going to overtake? I don't know, so I just want to see how they play together. I might take a different color of mica powder to do in the hand area. I'm not really sure. Again, want it to be colorful, want it to be a little different. I was thinking maybe gold for the hands, but that may not be a wise choice of color. Anyway, I'll give that a little bit more thought. We will get going with the UV resins first because I want to get the eyes done first. Get them all set up because I don't want flakes of powder and whatnot getting into the eyes. They can get on top of the eyes, I don't care, but I don't want anything in there. So that's where we're going to start our journey today. And I'm not going to, get you to watch everything I do, and because, well, I could, but I won't, because then you could maybe just skip forward and, whatever. So we're going to do one eye, dark blue. And like I said, I just thought it would be better to have the eyes done the way I wanted them done. And because of the type of mold this is, I should be able to cure it for the most part come on, out you come. Top and bottom. And I probably would be smart, wise to do this in a couple of layers just because it is thick and it is dark. I just think he'll be neat if he has different colored eyes. So I wonder what neat and interesting things you guys are up to. There's an air bubble. I don't like air bubbles. I don't think anybody does. I have to work on that because I've got one in there. So I'm going to see if I can't, because I don't really want an air bubble in his eye. I mean, that'd be easily fixed once it's cured, but I really don't want an air bubble in his eye. His eye, her eye, the eye. So I just want to go over top of these really quickly. And then I'm going to very carefully, because I don't know if I still have, I just want to kind of go through it to make sure. There's not an air bubble in that. I'll just do this one. Didn't seem to have anything in it, so I think I'm probably okay, but probably doesn't hurt to go now, just so I can properly see what I'm doing. We'll put on the magnifying eyeglasses. And then we'll let this run around. Yeah, there's my sugar plum fairies again. Anyway, I guess if this gets up around there, it's not going to really matter too much, is it? Just clean it up to the best of my ability. I'll sort of sink in a little bit. So have you done any interesting projects lately? Anything you want to comment about having done that has been interesting? Am I working on anything interesting? I'm making some Christmas cards for one of my clients. And I just recently sent out to a client. I think I showed you the mold, the nutcracker mold I have. Anyways, one of my clients, she decided she wanted a set of them in white, and she is going to paint them. I guess she's a fan of nutcrackers, so that's brilliant. So they are gone in the mail now. So I'm excited to see what she does with them. They're pretty intricate. Looking at the, like, I mean, I've worked on one, sort of trying to set one of them painting wise, and they're going to take a bit of time. You know, I guess depending on how much coloring you want to put in them in what pieces, that's for sure. Okay, so let's just let this sit for a moment. I just don't want to, I want it to sort of set down a little bit. I got some more air bubbles there. Which is good, they're coming up right before I cure this. I should probably be using should not be using that. I should be using something that isn't going to scratch my mold, right? I'll just go down and around. Talk about focus. Just like it was with my sleigh. And you know, it was annoying enough that, you know, I broke them in one place. But when I broke the red one in the second place, I'm going, seriously? This is how this is going to play out for you? Anyways. And I had thought about doing this piece with mix to mold, but my concern was, am I going to be able to get it out? Because the edges on this, they're fairly deep. The sides on this, the edges on this are fairly deep and somewhat wide. And I thought, oh, the last thing I want to do is get it in and then struggle getting it out and break it. I thought, no, I don't need that again. So we'll do it with resin because I know I can be a little more aggressive with the piece as far as getting it out goes. And I had thought, well, if you did part of it in mix to mold, you could do the rest in resin because that would give it a solid background. And, you know, maybe at some point I'll do that. I think the other one would lend itself more to the mix to mold than this one. And at some point I'll find it again for you. Well, I'll find it again. I'll find it and I'll show you what it looks like. This takes, they say, 7.7 fluid ounces, which works out to about, I'm going to make 220 mils of resin up, and rather have too much than not enough. And yeah, we'll see what kind of funky design we end up with on this. I like the fact that I'm doing the eyeballs different colors. Playful. And that is what it's all about. Okay. So once the 60 seconds is up, I'm going to step away, finish these up, so you don't have to watch that. And then we will move on to just coloring this guy up, mixing up our resin, pouring it, and seeing how it looks at the end of the day. And I'll give a little bit of thought to the hands. Again, not really sure. I could do them white, just because I could do them like a, I think I've got like a glimmer white? No, maybe not. I was thinking of some of the eye candies I have, but there may not. I'm not sure about the white. Yeah, anyway. Okay. I'm going to trust that these have cured. Guess I'm going to find out. Oh, darn air bubbles. And I'll have to be careful because I don't really want to go over the top of this, the ridge of this, right? Just, it's like get it level, and that's all you need to do. Just get it level. Muck it up by pouring it over. Don't want to do that. Apparently it's an air bubble kind of day. Oh, seriously. Oh well. Okay, that's all we're gonna need it with the blue. Can't see it getting close to the edge there. I'm going, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And I'll also cure this from underneath off camera, so we can make sure that we don't have issues. Yeah, it may be not completely dry or set when I take it out, but I don't want to. I figure I'd do what I can to avoid any issues. People, the focus is real. Defocus is real. There we go. Okay, I have to be careful because I think I should stop there and just move it about a little bit, because again, I don't want that running over its edge. And I don't know whether you guys have a brilliant way of sort of being able to see. It's sometimes challenging, I think, with the molds being made out of the clear, because you can't always see where the edges end up. I can't. You may be able to. I can't. So it's a bit of a, you know, do it slowly, do it carefully, so I don't end up with going over the lip of places, because I don't want to do that. I think I put a little bit more in here. Just trying to get it right up to that edge. I think I need a little bit more in the eyes in this yellow. It seems to be yeah, running away from that top edge, so we'll just put a little bit more in here. In both of them. I don't want to put over the edge, and then my stylus kind of goes over the edge, and I'm going, really? And then you just, it's didn't slip, but I could just feel it kind of going, you don't want to do that. Alright. So I'll just get rid of some air bubbles in this. So I'm going to let this sit just for a moment or two. Just to see if we get any more air bubbles out of it. I'm going to cure things up. I will bring you back when I'm ready to carry on with the coloring. See you in a bit. The eyes are done now. They're set. I used my Let's Resin UV light where I could do the bottom, from the bottom up and the top down. I did it for about 5 minutes, so I feel that should be enough time and we can carry on. What we want to do, so I picked out neon white to do the hands with, because I was thinking sort of a butler type idea, and they always wear white gloves, so I thought that would be appropriate for the hands, and then, you know, just randomly doing the other colors. So I am going to do that. I'll bring you back when I have, you know, sort of the colors put in, and like I'm going to randomly do it except for the hands. They'll be white. I'll mix up my resin. We will mix in the mulberry, and then we'll pour it. And as you know, and I think about sometimes that, you know, speeding things up and not letting you watch. So I'll let you watch me do the hands. Yes, I did not get much sleep last night, so that's part of my, I'm just tired. I've been finding, yeah, that as I get older, I just get tired and I'm not sleeping at night the way I'd like to be sleeping at night. It's like I just, yeah, I wake up too often. And then depending on how my day starts out, I either have energy or I don't. I've decided to cut back on the amount of coffee. I used to have two plus coffees a day, and I've decided it's not I don't want to do that anymore, so I'm down to 1 cup, which I like, and I'm working on drinking more herbal teas because they're easier on my stomach than the coffee. The coffee I'm just finding is too harsh for my stomach. And I was thinking, you know, when I had this done, I would tip it over to get out the excess, but I'm concerned if I do that the eyes will pop out. So I think we're just going to have to grin and bear it with any loose mica powder, and hopefully it won't have too much of an effect on things. And then I'll have things covered well enough that it turns, well, I guess it's going to turn out the way it's meant to turn out, isn't it? And I figured it'd be best to do the white first because I didn't want the other colors getting in and messing with it. So that's why I'm doing it like I am. And I'll be using my isotoa mixer to mix up the resin and the paste, because we've seen that it does a really good job. And allow me to do a couple of little other things while it's mixing things up, and I'll stick with it just because. I'm not going to worry too much if I get a little bit of the white sort of outside of where I want it. That won't bother me. Okay, that's the white done. Now I will randomly throw on some of the other colors. I'm gonna try and stay away from the eyes. That's really got white in my brush. So let's try and get some of that out. I probably should clean these makeup brushes. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab one of my bigger ones. I like ones that I can fit inside the containers. Just makes it easier. And we will. I say it's going to be random. I'm going to do my best not to get too much of the powder inside it. Right? Because like I said, I don't want to dislodge the eyes, because that won't be any fun. That would just be annoying. I'll have to do some quick checking to make sure I haven't missed any spots. I guess it doesn't really matter because the mulberry will cover up anything. I went a little overboard in that green on that one. Now I don't know how well I'm going to do on getting like up underneath here. I guess I could always turn it over and do that. But technically it should be the bottom, so I don't know that it really matters. Go around the eyes. This stuff is bright. It definitely sticks, right? I think I'm getting some pieces of glitter on here. Oh well. And I don't even mind, you know, that I've kind of get mixing some of the colors. So there's a little bit of the green coming out with the blue, so I don't mind that. This makes it more interesting, that's all. Oops. So have any of you worked with the neon powders at all? Or are you mostly I'm going to say a regular mica powder kind of person? It's so interesting, all the neat things they come out with. It just gets my attention. It's like, ooh, I'd like to try that. I am trying to be more considerate of what I spend my money on now. Someone had commented about, you know, artists way back in the day. And I'm talking going back, you know, centuries, that, you know, they started out with the most limited of, and, you know, I thought, and after I kind of heard that comment, I thought, you know, there's a lot of stuff here I could combine to create, you know, sort of what I'm looking to create without having to buy, you know, this or that or the other thing. I mean, it's very cool when you can try out new products. Don't get me wrong, I think it's really neat. But when I heard that comment, it got me thinking about, okay, so if you're looking to buy X, is there something at home here that I can use that will, you know, create what I need? And it's, you know, it's a bit of a work in progress thinking about it, but at the same time, yeah, there probably is stuff here that I can, you know, mix together to create, you know, what I need. So it's, yeah, something to think about when you want to go buy the, you know, is there something you can make that you've already got at home that will work to create the same thing? So that's what I'm trying to do. Now I'm noticing that I put way too much yellow on that, but so it's, I think the yellow is going to take off a little bit, but anyway, that's okay. So I think for the most part, I mean, I've got some, I was going to say, if I can get these little shreds of whatever, I could blow them with my air canisters that I've got, but I don't really want to throw this stuff around, so yeah, I'll just leave it. I think, though, I'm going to put a little bit, just a tad more of the blue. I feel like I've lost my blue. And I think, do you think maybe I should clean that out when I'm done? See if we can make the blue a little darker. It's a very soft blue. Yeah, there we go. Now I got way too much in there. Brush picks it up pretty good. All right, we won't fuss and fiddle with this anymore. I'll just And leave it like that. So that's what we've got. Definitely got to clean that brush. Next step will be to, oh, I think I want to. I might be being a nut to do this, but I'm trying not to blow it too hard. I'm just blowing this stuff. Okay, let's just stop with that foolishness. Okay, gonna mix up my resin, get that all done. I'll let you see how mulberry I go with the color. We'll pour it, we'll let it sit and set, and then we'll take it out and see how it looks. Be right back. I have got my resin mixed. I used my isotoyo. I told you that. Isotoyo? I'm not sure if I'm saying isotoyo. Toyo? Yeah, spend the rest of my video trying to say that word. Anyways, isotoyo. Toyo. My mixer. Resin mixer. That's what I'll just call it moving forward. And I should have, I think, put the resin in a smaller cup than this, or a big, I shouldn't say a smaller cup, a bigger cup that was wider at the base, because I was having to, if you've ever made a cake or anything and you're working with the batter, sometimes you lift the beaters up so that you can get, you know, everything mixed. And I mixed it a little bit extra by hand because I needed to, but I think it was just because I had it in too small of a container. And that's why I had to, you know, I was lifting it up and down and mixing it and going both ways. I would use a bigger cup next time just for a mixing perspective. Now, the other thing I did with this, I did not warm up my resin. I was curious to know what would happen with the bubbles, because it's a little cool in my basement and the resin's not, you know, totally warm as it needs to be. But I was just curious about what kind of bubbles I was going to end up with. And I do have some. And it's, you know, to me, it's because of the fact that I didn't warm it up. There's, well, I did 220 mils total of it. But yeah, I was lifting the mixer up and down, you know, having it go in both directions and whatnot, and did mix some by, with a stir stick and to get it mixed up. It looks really dark here. When I pulled the mixer out, it's a pretty purple. That's all I'm going to say. It's a pretty purple. And I can feel like the resin obviously isn't as warm as maybe it should be. So let's get to pouring. And hopefully we'll get, you know, a lot of those air bubbles coming up from the surface, up to the surface. And then I just want to let this roll really slowly in there, because I really don't want air bubbles, or I want limited, right? I know there's some in there. I just know there are. So, and that's got nothing to do with the mixer. It's that my resin was not warmed up, and my container, like I say, I believe was too full to really mix well. So I'm just going to slowly pour this so I don't introduce any extra bubbles, and so it can kind of slide in it. It's not like there are any really funky spots in this where air bubbles could get trapped. I don't think that is the case. I just want to go slow. Get it, you know, flowing in where it needs to. And I might just, once I kind of get the outer limits done, is just sort of move it about. So we just know it's where it needs to be. It's a pretty, I'd almost say it's sort of like a royal purple, this mulberry. It's a pretty color. And hopefully it works well with the neons that I've chosen, and you don't lose the eyes. I'm a little concerned about the dark blue maybe getting the eye getting lost because of this color, but who knows? It'll be a secret until we get it out of the mold. So I'll just put a little bit more of this, and then I'll just very carefully move it around because there's some spots that the resin hasn't flowed to yet. So that's about the purple we're looking at there. So it's a pretty purple. I could have made this a way more darker, but I chose not to. Yeah, I definitely have air bubbles, but here's to them sort of going on the wayside, eh? Just move it very carefully, right? Because we don't want to dislodge those eyes. And hopefully and I noticed on my one of my videos that I was showing you something and you couldn't see because I was right out of view. So it happens sometimes. I get so wrapped up in what I'm doing that I don't notice things like that. All right, I think we should be good. Cover up the eyes. It's an interesting mold. I think it's supposed to be just a really fun kind of mold. And I do have the other one out, and I will show it to you before we take this one out of the mold. And hopefully, so I've got a few, I shouldn't say a few, I've got a couple of air bubbles around the eyes, which, does that surprise me? Not really. And before those get pushed someplace I can't get to them, I'll just get rid of them now. Yeah, it's because of the UV resin, right? Somehow it challenges a pouring resin. I'm just going to let this sort of set in place. I'm trying to be aware of my edging here so I don't go over. Yeah, so you can probably see a little bit better now how thick it is sort of from the outside, you know, into this inner marker. And I don't know if it would be wise to put mix to mold in here just for, like, let's see how hard it is to get the, you know, resin out, let alone, you know, mix to mold, because, you know, we're going to want to be careful. It's thick for sure, but I just don't know about, oops, I hate when I do that. Put the lighter right into the resin. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know. So I think I've got enough in there. Still got quite a bit left of the resin. So I'll have to find something interesting to make with this. Definitely don't want to go over that lip. Okay. So we don't mess it up, and I'll just do this. I'm just going to start at the top here and just go around the edge. Make sure it's nice and close to it. Okay. So I'm going to find something to cover this up. I am going to find something, as I move that, it wasn't the plan. Find something to put the rest of this resin in. And then when it is time to take it out of the mold, we will come back and we'll see how this looks. And fingers crossed, everything comes out the way I want it to. I'll see you then. Are we ready to see how this turned out? Before I take that one out of the mold, I just want to show you the other, and they're called face tray molds. I've linked in the description. I looked at the Let's Resin website and I couldn't see these on there. For the molds, there was maybe, what, 12 listed out of all the molds they've got. So I don't know why these weren't on there, but they are on Amazon.com if you're interested in them. And again, one of the nice things about Let's Resin is they tell you how much you need. So this one needs 10.2 fluid ounces. And, you know, this might be one that you could use the mix to mold in because it's not that, like the sides aren't that bad. It's the ends maybe that have a little bit more that you'd have to be careful around. But if you let it sit long enough, I'm sure it would be fine. Fine. Anyway, I'm going to put one of my gloves on to pull this guy out. I don't have, for whatever reason, I only have one pink glove over here. I bought small because I wanted them tight around my hands, and sometimes that's not a good thing. So let's get this guy out. Sure, I'm going to get it out. Oh my gosh. I'm trying to find where I can break the seal. I'm going to just get it going in a spot, right? Seriously, people. Seriously. I've never experienced that before where I can't. Or I haven't been able to break the seal. Wow. There we go. Okay, that took a little bit of effort on my part. There we go. It's got to get going. Okay. Let's just get it all the way around. Make sure I'm in view. So it must be because this lip is so tight. So you're just gonna have to find the spot to get it going. It is I'd say a tougher mold. And that's one of the nice things about Let's Resin and some of these other like well-known companies, because they make good molds. There we go. Sorry, I'm getting excited because I get to see the eyes before you do. But yeah, so I would be cautious if I were to do this with mixed mold. The other one might be easier, and I would say it's just a matter of breaking the seal, obviously. But yeah, it caught on there really good. It strikes me as funny. So, needless to say, yeah, so we can't really see the colors because I guess the purple is just too much, but the eyes look kind of cool. I am impressed with the eyes as much as the blue one is a little, again, it's because of the purple. He's cute though. And I think you could do a little bit of decorating up with them. And if nothing else, his hands. And his hands, yeah, it's too bad, eh? Using the really dark color, we lost the neon powders in that. You can see, there is some of the green and or yellow that you can see through there, but the blue is a bit of a bad color. But I'm kind of surprised. I mean, the white didn't even really show up. But his eyes are cute. I think I did a good job with his eyes. I'm glad I did that. I will, I'll put this under the UV light just to make sure that, as we know, this was UV resin. So I want to make sure it is set. I don't want to put my fingers on that at all. And I mean, we could put something on here just to, you know, brighten this up a little bit, but he's kind of cute. Oh, too funny. Too funny. Well, I'm definitely glad I did the eyes the way I did them, or you just wouldn't have seen him at all. Yeah, you wouldn't have seen him at all. He's kind of cute. Anyway, so there you go. I've had my laugh for the day. And yeah, I might do a little something in between his fingers. Now, I will show you, because it's close by. I got out some tester paints I got a long time ago, and I used them on the cat. I'm still trying to play with coloring the cat, you know, the eyes, so that you can see the features of it, which I think is really important. And so I wanted to play with the testers a little bit. So that's how far I've gotten. I've got yellow, so I want to put a little tiny dot in the center of him. So, you know, the idea might be I have some white testers. I could maybe very carefully go in here between the fingers just to highlight them. And I think maybe putting something in the middle of that might be. Like, I don't know if I have a stencil that would work. But, oh, I love his eyes. I don't know about anybody else, but I love his eyes. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. And now makes me kind of want to do the other one, but this guy's cute. I think this would be cool for a kid's room if you did it in, well, whatever colors you wanted to do it in. But it'd be cool for a kid's room. And the eyes being done with the UV, I think I made the right choice doing that. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think of the eyes, because that's what is causing me the chuckle for the day. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for following along, liking, subscribing, and commenting. And I will see you in the next video. Take care and bye for now.